Hey guys, what's up? I read a bu- I read a bunch of comics yesterday. I didn't actually go out and pick anything up from my shop because, as I've said a million times, I only do that every couple of weeks. That I actually go and pick up new comics because I've always got so many that it takes me a couple of weeks to read them. But I got a lot of stuff read yesterday, so just kind of wanted to go through maybe and talk a little bit about those. Hope everybody got out yesterday and got their comics. Everybody that wanted to go out and get comics, at least, and that people were able to get out and get comics on the free Halloween thing the other day. I wish I would have actually got more comics. I didn't really go out and get any comics. The only comic that I picked up was the. People were able to get out and get comics on the. Yeah. So the only thing I actually picked up was I picked up Harrow County #1 off of Midtown. I didn't really look through. Midtown had so many of the #1s on there that I really didn't check it out. Another thing is, I don't know if anybody's checking out Supergirl on CW, but I am really, really liking them switching Supergirl over to CW. Um, Seems like that they've just come out of the gate, man, freaking shooting. I mean, first they bring in Superman, now they got Maggie Sawyer in there. They got this other cat that I'm pretty sure is going to wind up being Superboy. Just all kinds of freaking stuff going on. The girl that's playing roulette, I'm crazy happy because I enjoyed her on the 100 a lot. I was really, really pissed whenever she got killed on 100. So I was really, really happy to see her back on something. So that was cool. I'm hoping maybe that at some point on one of the shows, and somebody can tell me if maybe this has happened and I just haven't seen it. But the girl that just died on 100, that was the leader of the Grounders. Um, really like to see her get a role playing something because I really, really enjoyed her on that show. But I just really like the Grounders. I mean, I think for the most part that I'm just a Grounders fan. But yeah, so hey, let's see what I got here. Let's start with what I read oldest, since those things are probably the things that aren't as big on my mind. All right, so first off, I read The Skeptics from Black Mask. This was pretty cool. It was not what I thought it was going to be. It was kind of a story of these two kids that are supposed to be psychic because the Russians uh, have got psychic kids. And so the U.S. is trying to make psychic soldiers, but they're actually con men that this lady here is trying to show the government that because of the fact that the U.S. doesn't have cyber soldiers, they've just been doing tricks, that probably the Soviet Union's the same way. And, they don't have any actual cyber soldiers. But yeah, it was a pretty, all in all, it was a pretty funny book. I really enjoyed the way that it ended. Also, liked that this book had two previews in it. It had a preview for this No Angel book that's fixing to come out, and then it also had, I guess, like an encore of the Black that came out a couple of weeks ago. Actually, Black #2, I think, comes out next week, and they're also going to do a second printing that comes out next week. But yeah, Skeptics was pretty good. Uh, I would say that that's definitely just like most Black Mass titles. That's one that I picked up just kind of on a lark that I'll probably continue to read. Then I read Spook House by Eric Powell. That's another one of his Albatross books that doing Hillbilly out of there. And yeah, Chimichanga, for whatever reason, is coming out from Dark Horse. I'm not sure if Dark Horse owns the rights, I guess, to Chimichanga, or what the deal is there on why Chimichanga is coming out there, since he's printing these books from Albatross. But this is going to be, I think, a monthly book, and it's a bunch of little like spooky stories. And the ones in this were pretty funny. The first story was about these kids that are looking for a haunted house, and it kind of turns into like a Blair Witch, uh, House on Haunted Hill, 13 Ghosts type of situation. Was pretty good. This Monster Under the Sink was pretty funny. It's about this lock and key kid that finds out that there's a monster underneath his underneath the sink in the kitchen. So he decides he has to protect his mom and goes and gets all like freaking commando to go in and take it out. I'm wondering whether or not these are good, that there's going to be continuations of these stories too. I hope there are. Then there was this Het Blazer, which was like Hellblazer, but it was basically you solve the cube and they come and like break your shit. And so, yeah, all the stories in this were pretty funny. I think my favorite one that was in this was, I don't know, the first one was a pretty good scary story, but I think that this Het Blazer, I really want a Het Blazer t-shirt, really, really, really bad. If you could get me a Het Blazer t-shirt that's just kind of got this this pinhead guy on it, that would be awesome. I mean, I don't know. I guess I would like it too if you could get me the Mohawk Girl, because the Mohawk Girl, so you know, is like, oh man, you got so much cool stuff to break. Thanks. She cracked me up. But yeah, that was at Spook House was pretty good. You know, pretty nice little funny anthology. I don't have enough funny books on my list right now. I wish I had more funny books. Uh, got Joyride #6 from Boom Studios. This was the start of a new story arc. Uh, the It might have been the second issue in this story arc. I'm not really sure where the stories switched over, but this seemed like more of a starting point to me than the last issue did. Issue 5, I thought was the last issue of the series. I was super happy whenever I saw in issue 6. Most of the first arc was dealing with developing these characters and everything. And the art in this, man, I love Marcus Toe's art. But this was more about the ship and kind of like the personality of the ship that they're on, because they don't really fully understand how this technology works. So, you know, it was kind of cool to like give the ship a little bit of an introduction. I like too that this is a wraparound cover, which is kind of sweet. But yeah, Joyride. I really continue to enjoy what's going on with this story. Like I say, I'm a huge fan of Marcus Toe's art. I think this cover is, you know, shows that off really well, and like that in the interior picture that I showed and all. I think that's pretty freaking sweet. That's like the engine of the ship. It's like all like organic or whatever, which is pretty sweet. Oh man, Black Hammer #4. This was the end of the first arc on Black Hammer, and I think I saw in previews that Black Hammer is coming out in December, that these first 4 issues are going to be in a trade from Dark Horse for like $10, which for a Dark Horse trade is a pretty freaking sweet price. Really, really enjoyed the series by Jeff Lemire. Abraham, who has kind of been a mystery character to me. This was kind of Abraham's backstory and telling you about Abe himself when he was a superhero. And it also kind of had a little bit more of the family dynamic because of the fact that Abe's invited his girlfriend over for dinner, and everybody just kind of wants to like raise hell. Man, I love this little girl. She's so freaking cool. But I like her shirt too. I want to know where she got this black lamp shirt, or if anybody knows what these black lamps are, because I need one of these shirts. It's pretty freaking sweet. Reminds me of like an old Misfit shirt or an old like you know, zine print shirt or something. What else? Man, I read so many books. Read Throwaways. Was this Throwaways #4? Yeah, this is #4. Again, I can't really say that I'm a huge fan of the art in this book, but I do really like Caitlin Kettrich's story. Has been really good. The last couple of issues have had a lot more to do with with our main character here and his dad, who's kind of abandoned him forever, kind of getting to know each other. And so, I mean, that's been all right. But I think my favorite character in the book is his girlfriend, this little Asian girl, who's like some kind of like hacker person, but just super smart. You know, I think she's probably my favorite character. And this didn't have as much going on in it as all the other issues have, but it did have a really good ending. It's got a preview in the back for this Violent Love book, which I don't think that I'm going to be picking up. I do like Frank Barberry's stuff, but the art on this, I'm not a huge fan of the art that's previewed in this. So, yeah, probably not something I'm going to look into. But yeah, Throwaways #4. I want to know who does these covers. I really like how simple this like knife and the butcher block thing is. I don't see any kind of signature to tell me who does the cover. Covers by Jason Bays. I don't know who that is, but yeah, I like that cover. Another issue of Jeff Steinberg. Jeff Steinberg, Champion of Earth. After him breaking up with his girlfriend, or his girlfriend breaking up with him last issue, he's kind of decided, since he's only got like 1 day left, to like go and like prepare for this fight to the death for Earth, that maybe he needs to like go and get started. But first he's gonna go try to beg his girlfriend to come back to him, and he like shows up and she's in bed with somebody else, and he's all like, well, fine then, I'm gonna go and I guess save the world by myself. And so he goes and gets in his big robot. And so I guess at issue 4, which should be, I think Oni Press mainly does like 4 or 5 issue arcs. Either the next issue or the issue after that should be either the last issue of this arc or just the last issue. Either way, I'm not sure how long Jeff Steinberg's going on, but I would definitely be reading it, because Jeff Steinberg, he reminds me of like Gilligan's Island or something, man. He's just so stupid that, you know, he somehow stumbles into succeeding. And then, of course, read Spell on Wheels. Again, I wasn't a huge fan of the art on this book, but I love Kate Leith's writing, so the story on it was okay. I really liked the coloring on it. Coloring was really good. But yeah, it was all in all pretty good. Kind of a charmed story of 3 witches. Some big bad has come and taken a bunch of their spellcraft stuff, and so, you know, now they're trying to go and get it back. A bunch of witches on a road trip. What could go wrong? I got spread number 17. I swear to God, man, the spread seems like it just came off break, and now it's going on break again. And it's right in the middle of, we had all this character development in the first arc and world building in the second arc, and then this arc was a little bit more about what's going on with the spread. But I feel like issue 17 is a really, really weird issue to be the last issue of your arc. But apparently they're not going to be back till January. And according to the back matter stuff, the next issue of this won't be coming out until January or February. So, I mean, like I say, even though it seems like it just came back from break, I guess it's going on break again. Really like this sketch cover by Kyle Statham in the back. It's pretty sweet. I really like this one too, by John Biven, who is the current artist of Spread. He's the current guy doing it. Kyle Statham was the one that started it out. He still does the cover art, which I really like this cover. Pretty sweet. But we don't get introduced to this dude until like the last page. Well, we got introduced to him way back in issue 5, but no story of where he's been or anything. He just kind of pops up, and there he is. So, yeah, good stuff going on there. Teen Titans #2. all these Rebirth titles have been pretty good. The art on this book is freaking fantastic. Um, Damien kind of explains why it is that he kidnapped everybody and how they're all weak and they suck and he's the best. I mean, just typical Damien type stuff. So, there's that. And then, Ra's al Ghul kind of came along and, you know, just normal Damien type stuff. Um, finding dead robins in boxes with notes from your granddad. Just normal every day. Read the last issue on Sombra. Really liked this Sombra story, but I have to say I was really kind of let down by this last issue. I just kind of felt like it just kind of ended, and then did like this like little 2 pages of, well, here's what wound up happening in the story. Kind of like whenever you watch a movie, and then at the end of the movie, it just kind of ends, and then they say, after this, so and so went on, to run for president, or whatever, and so went and OD'd on crack, or whatever it is that postscript or whatever, I guess is what it is. But yeah, I just didn't really like how that there was this huge build up to everything that was going on in this story, and then issue 4 to me just seemed like it just ran into a wall. And then, I mean, I don't know, maybe it's time for Justin Jordan to go on vacation, because like I say, I kind of felt the same way with Spread, which he also writes, kind of like he just cut it off at a weird spot. And then I kind of felt like Sombra was just kind of cut off at a weird spot. They could have really gone one more issue. But, I'd say overall, I mean, it was a pretty decent series, but I really didn't like how it ended. I mean, it's just me. Opinions and opinions, huh? Got Frostbite number 2. There was a lot of information in Frostbite number 2 about what's going on, just overall in the Frostbite world, going on with our main characters in the book, and just all that. I like the art in this issue. I think it looked a lot, that it was a lot cleaner than the last issue was to me. Even though it seemed like in that first issue, like the use of color on Jason Sean Alexander's art was kind of weird, but in this issue there was a good mix of like the color with like his traditional, like normally his stuff looks more like this, but yeah, a real good mix going on in this issue. And like I say, got a lot of story, and I mean just beautiful art in this one. But yeah, really enjoyed it. Can't wait to see exactly what's gonna go on issue 3, because it seems like with this series, like it's moving way too fast. So I know that something really bad's fixing to happen, and yeah, I don't know what it's gonna be, but it's gonna be really bad. And I said I didn't like this cover when I was looking at it. If you took this sunshine thing out of the way and threw something in the back, I think I would like it better. But I think this sunshine really does show, kind of like illustrate what was going on with that issue. So, all in all, issue number 3. Yeah, issue number 3 on Battlestar Galactica. This is a Colin Bunn book, Alex Sanchez art from Dynamite. This is a really bizarre book. First off, I have to say I really like Alan Sanchez's art, but in this book, I'm not so much digging every bit of it. There's some of it, man, that I am super digging. Like, I really like this panel here with Starbuck, but this is a really weird story. It's like at the beginning of the story, the Galactica jumps through a black hole and ends up in a parallel universe. And in this parallel universe, the Cylons get along with the Cylons are at war with, just like they are here. But when the Cylons from the one universe come through into the other universe, the Cylons are at war with them, because they view them like the Cylons view us, as kind of like old technology. that needs to be killed. So the Cylons have to come to the Federation, and is that what they're called? What is the Galactica? What are they called? I don't think they're called the Federation. That doesn't sound right. But the Cylons have to come to them and basically ask for sanctuary. And yeah, uh, the Galactica is not really digging that because last time they offered a sanctuary and there was an armistice, they damn near came back and wiped everybody out. So yeah, they're not really into that. Then I read the first two issues of which I really like this cover of The Great Divide. I really like this one too. From Dynamite. I did not understand what was going on with this in this story really at all. And I read both issues back to back, and I'm not sure, somebody out there, man, that speaks Spanish, if you could tell me what exactly these Spanish word blurbs are. I was super confused by that all the way through the issues because I don't know if they're saying the same thing or if they're saying something different. But like, if you notice, underneath this main English blurb, there's a Spanish blurb. And underneath this, there's a Spanish blurb. And I don't speak Spanish, so you know, it was kind of weird what was going down here. Like, if I were to stick that to a translator, and if that's the free post-apocalyptic coloring book, I didn't even notice. I do not see a post-apocalyptic coloring book. I think that was just for giggles on the cover. But issue 1 wasn't as bad with the Spanish blurbs as issue 2 was. Issue 2 really had a lot of it. I did, however, like this classified text messaging stuff that's going on in the back. That you know, you give me you know, 20-something pages of really confusing stuff that's going on, and then in the back of it, you put a bunch of like internet contact between different like scientists and stuff that only makes it more confusing. All I really got out of this is that if you touch somebody, then you both die. But I'm assuming that if somebody dies in your vicinity, that their thoughts are transferred to your mind, kind of like a Highlander thing, but like schizophrenia. So if you've got too many voices in your head, then, or if you've got the wrong voices in your head, they kind of steer you to do different stuff. But you know, if you were to, I don't know, kill Stephen Hawking, then I guess that you would have Stephen Hawking's thoughts in your head. So then maybe you would be smart. But I don't know. That book was really confusing. All I really got out of it is that there is a virus that has been out there for several freaking years, and that people go out and they do these walkabouts, which I'm really not sure what a walkabout is. I think it's like going out to like collect supplies or like go somewhere, go on a walkabout. I'm not real sure. It kind of had its own language, and so maybe I'll get that sorted out at some point. But it was, man, that was really, really confusing story to me. Really confusing story. Got a lot of biohazard symbols. I got a biohazard symbol on the cover of this one and a biohazard symbol on the back of this one. This was Beauty number 11. Continue to be just as confused as I've been by the last like 3 or 4 issues of Beauty. I don't know if I'm going to have to go back and pick this book up and trade so that I just realized I didn't get the Jeremy Hahn cover on this. I always get the Jeremy Hahn cover. And I really liked that Jeremy Hahn cover. But yeah, so I've really got nothing really to say about this. When it comes out in trade, I'm probably going to go out and pick up the last like 2 trades so that I can see if this last art makes any more sense if I sit down and read it all at one time, because it has really not made any sense to me. It's like you spent the first like arc or two explaining what was going on with the beauty virus, and then you spent the last like 4 issues, now that I understand the beauty virus, like doing a bunch of like showing me different people, but they all kind of look the same to me. So, yeah, like I say, haven't really got a lot of that. Outcast number 22 continues to go strong. They finally got to a point where they exercised the demon that they've been trying to exercise for a good while now. So that was cool. But I got a feeling that there's this war that's been brewing between the Conclave people and the main characters of the book is going to come to a head pretty soon. It just almost has to, because the death guy, he just seems like he's a little laid back. And hey, what's up, Chris? Not man, sitting here talking about. I got a bunch of comics I read, man, sitting here going through talking about them. But it seems like he's almost like, it seems like that. What is the main character's name in this book? Kyle. That's what his name is. Seems like Kyle and the Reverend have. And why is it that the Reverend always has to get naked whenever he goes to like assault demons? I don't get that. Is it important that the demon sees the symbols that are branded on your skin? Because it seems to me almost like that the demon should just know they're there. You know, I mean, it's like on Supernatural when they hide something under a carpet. It's not like the demon is like, oh, it's under a carpet because I don't see it. I can't get trapped by, you know, whatever it is that's going on. But yeah, like I say, that seems like that one's called that issue's called the ticking clock. So yeah, it does kind of seem like it's counting down to something. Read the Revisionist number 5. That I think that Aftershock books do trades in 6 issues, but this really seemed like it says that the next issue comes out in December. So, but you know, it seems like they do 5-issue arcs, and this did seem like a really, really good stopping spot. It's a really, really good cliffhanger at the end of this book. You know, I knocked on this book whenever it very first came out, but like with most Frank Barbary stuff, it kind of grew on me. And after about issue 3, it really, really started to pick up once I knew who all the major players were. And by the time it got to the end of this first arc, I'm more or less. Oh, okay. Well, I mean, maybe that's it, man. I mean, maybe his brands and stuff do actually have to be shown by the demon. I mean, or not shown to the demon, but that, yeah, they can't be hampered by anything, can't be buffered or whatever. I'm not sure. I just noticed that every time, man, that he gets ready, and I missed that, I guess, at some point, but that every time that he goes to fight demons, all of a sudden, man, the Rev's ripping his shirt off, man, and getting in there and starting stuff up. Read Wayward number 17. So issue 16 was a what happened to Rory and the other kid that I can't remember her name right now. I think it's Aruka or something like that. But that they jumped into some kind of parallel world and went someplace. This issue was about the other kids, and love this cover, by the way. It's a gorgeous freaking cover, man. But pretty much the negative on it too is really nice. But pretty much all the covers on this book are sweet. But it was cool because in last issue, this chick here, who is what is his name, Rye? What the frick is her name? I think her name is Rye. But yeah, she's my favorite character. And last issue, she wasn't in the issue at all. So hey man, Wayward's going strong. I think that Wayward's story where it is right now, at issue 15, I guess, really like turned a corner. And then in 16, Rory was totally thrown out of the story and all. And in this issue, kind of just everything kind of hit the fan. And with what happened, the last 3 issues of this book have been freaking fantastic. I mean, before that it was really good, but the last like 3 issues have been fantastic. I liked in this issue that the way that like the Japanese had those little like themed sex house things, that they had one in this book that's where they went for to do their hideout. I thought that was freaking hilarious. But yeah, awesome stuff. Wayward's got 3 trades out, I think, so far. You know, if you haven't been checking through, but yeah, I mean, I was wondering early on Wayward whether or not it was something that was going to catch on, because it does have a really almost manga type of story thing going on with it, that I just didn't know how that was going to catch on with people. But I think that I mean, Jim Zub's really caught on. I think there was, at some point, man, Jim Zub really, really caught on. And I think that more people started seeing just how freaking fantastic the art is. Steve Cummings' art is amazing. Tamara Bullivant has been great. Yeah, I mean, I would recommend going back and checking it out in trade. You know, it's been pretty nice. So who won your contest? I didn't see who won your contest. I saw something last night about, I thought that you were doing your And the Winner Is thing. So then I read number 9 on Green Lanterns, which is the first part of this Phantom Lantern thing that's going on. And this issue is really freaking good. It's all about this dude that got saved by Hal Jordan back in the day. And so he decided that he wanted to be a Green Lantern. So he went out and he did everything that he could possibly do to take like the most dangerous jobs and just train endlessly for, you know, what he was doing, until finally one night, like there's a huge explosion and a power ring shows up, and it's all like, you know, hey man, you've been chosen to be part of the Green Lantern Corps. And he's like, I knew it, man. I've been chosen to be part of the Green Lantern Corps. And then all of a sudden, like, the ring's all like, oh no, man, my bad. I'm gonna go and be Simon Baz's ring now, so you're no longer eligible. And like, he gets all pissed off and about the ring leaving. And then at the end, somebody shows up that hasn't been around since like Jessica Cruz early days. And yeah, really pretty sweet freaking that. But that was like a whole separate like Lantern's journey story. And yeah, it was pretty cool. Yeah, I don't understand Vertigo. I mean, I partially understand Vertigo because of the fact that I think that Vertigo started a bunch of books up like a year ago, and then they changed editors and trying to shake things up or whatever. And I mean, Vertigo has stuck with a couple of books, because Vertigo is still putting out on Unfollow, which I think is a really good book, and they're still putting out Clean Room, which I think is a really good book. They did cancel Suicide Club, or Survivors Club, which I liked a lot, and Slash and Burn, which I think actually they let that run the full arc, but it did seem like they canceled a little early. But you know, they have had a real tendency for canceling a bunch of stuff. And then last but most definitely not least, it seems like I read a couple of other things too, but I don't really remember where. I don't really see what it is I read. I read the new issue on New Superman. I actually cut this title, but then I had a free variant, and I really kind of like this variant, so I went ahead and picked the issue up, and it was honestly pretty good. I like this whole Chinese Justice League thing that's going on in here. Who does that cover? Oh, okay, so it's a Chang cover, which I really like Chang's stuff over on Supergirl. But yeah, this has been a pretty good series. Like I say, I dropped it because I keep getting behind on these twice a month books, and I keep thinking that I'm caught up, and then I go to read the issue and realize that I'm not actually caught up, and it really pisses me off. That happened to me with the Hal Jordan and Green Lantern Corps, that I went to read issue 7, and I realized that I still hadn't read issue 6. So then I had to go back and read issue 6, but then I realized that I hadn't finished the end of issue 5. So then I had to go back and read 5 and 6. So I still haven't read issue 7 to be current. And I'm pretty sure whenever I go into my shop the next time, I'm going to have another issue of Hal Jordan. So, you know, I don't know. It is what it is. Read the last issue on Sunflower. I was actually really happy with the way this series ended. We got a little bit of resolution, but at the same time, unlike most of the series that come out from 451, which are just done, this one says on the cover, "This is the end?" ? And I really don't want to show this last page, but then at the bottom of the last page, it says "to be continued." So I'm really hoping that the Sunflower book had enough people reading it that it gets a second arc, because man, it was really slow kind of in the middle of the arc, but just the whole story overall, that book was a really good mystery, and I wasn't really sure where it was going to go at any point until we got to the end of this issue. And so, yeah, it was fantastic. But yeah, I think that's about it, man. And I'm gonna get out of here. And like I say, I don't think that I'm gonna do a pull list video this week, because I didn't pull but 4 or 5 books, and I can't even off the top of my head tell you what they were. I think I pulled one of the Green Lantern books, maybe Green Lanterns number 10, maybe Hal Jordan number 8, and I pulled Unfollow number 12, and you know, that was about it. So yeah, like I say, probably not going to do a pull list video. Depends on whether or not I go into my shop tomorrow. I haven't decided yet, but if I do, then I'll go ahead and do one. But yeah, man, thanks for coming and watching, man, making some comments, Chris. That was cool. I'm gonna get off here and have a cup of coffee and maybe read a couple more books and then get on with my day. But I'll catch y'all later.